In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful, and may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon His last and beloved Messenger Muhammad, and may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all. This is the 19th episode in the Quran Practice Program, as entitled The Scientific Proof that Allah God Almighty has no sons and no partners. Now, as an introduction to this episode, there are common qualities of Allah God Almighty that are common to all religions, such that in all religious scriptures there are common qualities to Allah God Almighty. The first one, that Allah God Almighty is everywhere at the same time, that Allah God Almighty is everywhere. And this is reinforced in the Holy Quran, that whenever you may turn, you will find the face of Allah God Almighty, that everywhere there is Allah God Almighty. That is common, and there is no arguing about that. That's common between in all religions. The other quality is that Allah God Almighty does not eat nor sleep. And this is further said in the Holy Quran, that no sleeping will occur to Allah God Almighty, and no kind of drifting off. So Allah God Almighty does not sleep and does not eat. The third common quality is that when Allah wants something to be done, it's done in an instant. If He decrees a certain matter, then that happens in an instant. And that's further said in the Holy Quran, that when Allah wants something, it just says to it be, and it becomes. Now, these are the common qualities of Allah God Almighty in all religious books. In the Noble Quran, the last revelation of Allah God to people; in the Bible, the Old and New Testament; in the Bhagavad Gita, the book of the Hindus, and so forth. Now, how to understand these qualities from a scientific point of view? Allah God Almighty teaches us in the Noble Quran, the only book on the face of the earth that teaches you how to understand these qualities from a scientific point of view, is the Noble Quran. Allah God Almighty states in the Noble Quran, in chapter called Chapter Light, that Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. Now, so many people understood this, that Allah's guidance is like light. No, the correct understanding for this is that Allah is light. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. So Allah is light. Now, based on this understanding, how we can understand these common characteristics of Allah God Almighty from a scientific point of view? Now, Allah God Almighty is everywhere at the same time. This can only be accomplished if Allah is light, because light can be everywhere at the same time. But a physical object, it cannot be everywhere at the same time. If it's in front of you, it can be behind you. That's the first, that understanding the first quality. Secondly, that Allah does not eat nor sleep. Does light eat or sleep? No. The third quality, that the commandment of Allah, when He wants something to be done, it's done in an instant. Now, how to understand this? Think about your body. Your molecules are vibrating with a certain speed. Now, the speed of this vibration dictates how fast you can accomplish a certain task. You have a certain kind of amount of vibration, speed of vibration, so you can accomplish a certain task. For example, an energetic person can accomplish a task in a smaller time than a lazy person. And if we think about the angels are made of light. Now, light has very high frequency of vibration, and thus an angel can accomplish so many tasks in a small time. Now, and to Allah God Almighty belongs the best of examples. Allah is stronger than the angels, is stronger than the human. So Allah, when He wants something to be done, it's done in an instant. Now, having understood these qualities from a scientific point of view, this helps us to clean and to remove the misconceptions about Allah God Almighty. Now, some group of people, Christians, they claim and they allege that the Almighty has a son, Jesus peace upon Him. Now, let's think about that. Christians, they believe that Allah is everywhere, God Almighty is everywhere, that He does not sleep nor eat, that when He wants something to be done, it's done in an instant. They don't have any kind of problem with that. So, this can only be accomplished if Allah Almighty is light. So the question now, how can light beget and have a physical son? It's incompatible. It's impossible to happen. How can light have a physical son? It just cannot be. It's incompatible. And this is further restated in the Quran, that Allah begets none, nor is He is begotten. So He does not have a son. He's one and unique, and He doesn't have a son. Because from a scientific point of view, it's impossible to happen. That is about Christians. Now, coming to another group of people, the Hindu, they believe that Allah Almighty has partners, physical partners. For example, some made of stone, some made of some men, and so forth. Now, to think about this. Now, the physical partner, he has a certain power, he has a certain kind of frequency, certain vibration in his body, so he has certain power. Now, the strength of Allah Almighty and His ability to command something to be done in an instant comes from the quality of Allah Almighty. So a physical partner, how can he have powers compatible with that of the Creator? Because he's made from physical matter, has certain frequencies, certain vibrations, so it cannot accomplish tasks similar to that, the way that Allah Almighty accomplishes tasks. So we see that it is impossible from a scientific point of view that Allah Almighty has partners nor sons. It's impossible for the Almighty to have partners, because a partner, as the Hindus believe, it's a physical object. So the physical object does not have any kind of powers compatible with that of the Creator. So it's impossible for that object to be a partner. Now, that is about that point. Now, coming to another scientific proof that shows that Allah Almighty is one. He is not three in one, and He has no partners. Allah Almighty states in the Quran in chapter 21 verse 30 the following: have not those who disbelieve known that the heavens and the earth were joined together as one united piece, one with tapestry? Then Allah God tore them apart, and Allah God has made from water every living thing. Will they not then believe? So if we think about this Quranic verse, Allah Almighty starts the verse with the word disbelief and ends with the word belief. So there should be a great sign between these words that elevates a person from the state of disbelief to the state of belief. Now, this sign that Allah Almighty has made from water every living thing, how can I understand this? Now, has made from water meaning that it was water, then it became humans. It was water, then it became stone. It was water, then it became angels. So it's a change in form from one form to another. So Allah Almighty has made from water every living thing, that Allah Almighty designed all creation with the same design and function of water. To illustrate this point further, if you think about water, you see that water is composed of matter, the thing that you feel and touch, and energy, the driving force in water. We see that creation is made also from water, from matter, the thing that you can feel and touch, and from energy. So in engineering terms, it's like water is like a model for creation. In engineering, you have a model, and the products, they are similar to that of the model. Now in creation, the model is water, and the products are the creations of Allah Almighty. So if we think about matter in water, we see that Allah Almighty arranged the atoms in water in hexagonal shape. And since Allah Almighty made from water every living thing, then we see that all creatures, they have this hexagonal shape in their makeup. For example, in the beehives of bees, in trees, in skin, in the arrangement of atoms in matter, all have this hexagonal shape of water. Also, energy. When you throw a rock in a pond of water, energy propagates from the source with concentric circles. And Allah Almighty designed energy in creation with the same design. So we see that, for example, thermal energy propagates in concentric circles, mechanical energy propagates with the same kind of methodology. So how does this sign prove that Allah Almighty is one? Now, the Almighty is showing us here a sign, a great sign of His, that from a single source, He is able to create all of the diversity in creation. And thus, the Creator is one, and all of this diversity in creation He has created. And Allah Almighty states in the Quran that if there were partners with Allah Almighty, then every partner would have gone away with His creation, meaning that since we have one methodology in creation, one way of creation, then the Creator is one, the manufacturer is one. But if there was kind of a partner to Allah Almighty, then you'd have different kind of methodologies. You'll find, for example, a different kind of way creating trees than water, than humans. So, but since there is one kind of way in creation, then the Creator is one. He has no partners, he has no sons, he's not three in one, he's one and unique. Allah, God Almighty. So we see, brothers and sisters, that the Almighty is showing us these signs to guide us to His path and to remove the misconception about Him. And Allah Almighty wants mercy on the people and not their punishment. And to know more details about this topic, please visit my website at www.quran-miracle.com, and you can email me at zaidquran.com, and may the peace and blessings of Allah